You achieved something you wanted. Maybe a goal, a milestone, something you worked toward for months. And the feeling lasted about a day. Then you were back to normal, scanning for the next thing, wondering why it didn't feel the way you thought it would. Most people assume that's ingratitude, or that they want too much. It isn't either of those things. There's a specific mechanism in the brain that explains why intelligent people are disproportionately bad at enjoying what they have. And understanding it doesn't just explain the problem, it changes how you approach everything that's supposed to make you happy. Here's what's happening. Psychologist Sonia Lubomirsky at the University of California, Riverside has spent decades studying what actually determines happiness. One of her most consistent findings? The brain adapts to positive outcomes faster than we expect. A raise, a relationship, an achievement? Within weeks, sometimes days, the brain recalibrates its baseline and returns to roughly the same level of satisfaction it had before. Researchers call this hedonic adaptation. You get what you wanted, your brain updates its reference point, and suddenly what you have is just the new normal. This happens to everyone, but it hits analytical minds harder, and for a specific reason. Intelligent people don't just experience outcomes, they anticipate them in exhaustive detail. The brain that's good at planning, modeling, and projecting futures has usually run the simulation of success dozens of times before it actually arrives. By the time the real thing happens, the brain has already processed it. The surprise is gone. The emotional peak never comes because the brain already lived it in advance. You didn't fail to appreciate it, you appreciated it too early. But there's a second mechanism that's even more damaging. Psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia found that analyzing why you enjoy something measurably reduces how much you enjoy it. In a series of studies, people who were asked to explain their preferences, why they liked a piece of art, why they found someone attractive, why a meal tasted good, consistently reported lower satisfaction than people who simply experienced it without analysis. The act of understanding pleasure interferes with feeling it. For a mind that analyzes everything automatically, that can't encounter an experience without immediately categorizing, evaluating, and explaining it, this is a constant tax on enjoyment. Every good moment comes with an internal commentary track running underneath it. So what do you actually do? Two things, counterintuitive ones. First, stop trying to maximize. Research on decision-making consistently shows that people who seek the best possible option, psychologist Barry Schwartz calls them maximizers, report significantly lower satisfaction than people who choose something good enough and stop looking. The analytical mind defaults to maximizing. It can always see a better alternative, a missed detail, a reason the current thing falls short. The practice isn't lowering your standards. It's deliberately closing the search once something is good enough and refusing to reopen it. Second, protect experiences from explanation. Not everything needs to be understood. There's strong evidence that certain categories of experience, aesthetic pleasure, connection, awe, are actively degraded by analysis. The practice is creating deliberate spaces where you experience first and evaluate never. Not later. Never. A meal, a conversation, a piece of music that you simply let exist without producing a verdict on it. The goal isn't to think less. It's to think after, or not at all, about the things that are only real while they're happening. Intelligence is a remarkable tool, but tools don't know when to put themselves down. If this named something you felt but couldn't explain, share it with someone who needs to hear it.